Welcome guys to another episode of Match Report, and in this one I'll be talking about United's latest win against Newcastle that was taking place yesterday on Boxing Day of 2012, where the Reds won 4-3 in a victorious win that takes the Reds 7 points clear at the top of the Barclays Premier League. So first of all, let's talk about the team news, and there were 5 changes, and the most significant was the return of Chris Smalling and Rio Ferdinand to the back 4, as well as Chicharito coming in for Wayne Rooney, who unfortunately, along with Ashley Young, picked up an injury on, I think, Tuesday, where, they both training injuries, and, they were preventable, I guess, but in training, it's one of these things where you have to deal with it, and so Rooney and Young will be out for the next couple of weeks, as well as Danny Welbeck, who was taken ill yesterday as well, so that shows how depleted our forward line has been, going to be in the next, I think, 2 games going to be anyway. But again, Chicharito comes in along with Ryan Giggs and Paul Scholes, and we all know about my opinion about starting both Paul Scholes and Ryan Giggs, and I just think the lack of energy brings by the both of them is kind of like a downside to their game. I'm not saying they're not good players. I'm just saying we need the energy to give ourselves an impetus early on in the game, so that we build on our momentum and attack, create a kind of like dominance in the game, and then when perhaps 17 minutes in or whatever, bring them on in order to kind of like set our own pace and tempo, and then play our own pace so that we create more chances, etc. But I think it was again highlighted by the defensive frailty, where we were lacking in central midfield, and Newcastle with their 3-man midfield definitely overran us. And I know Sir Alex has said they want to rotate a lot of players during this festive period, but again, we need to start with a more energetic midfield than the 2 old veterans yesterday, in order to give ourselves a much better chance of not conceding first, and it has worked in the past in both the big games against Chelsea and Man City as well. So that is a proven formula that Cleverley and Carrick plays well. But I know Sir Alex's intention of resting Cleverley perhaps over this festive period and not burning him out before the second half of the season. But let's go on with the action. So it was quite a slow start for United, and that was encapsulated by the 4th minute goal by Demba Ba, who had a shot from 20 yards out. It was palmed away from De Gea. I think De Gea, he could have done a lot better with it, but instead he parried it right into James Perch's track, and he just simply slotted it home. It was a poor decision, I guess, from De Gea. The conditions were atrocious, but I'm not going to make any excuses for that. He could have done a lot better, even if he had put it just a bit sideways. It would have gave Rio Ferdinand a much better chance to get out and get back to clear it. So De Gea, I think it was his fault for that first goal, but it wasn't one of these massive howlers. But again, for the ability that he has, he could have done and dealt with it a lot better than what he did there. So it was a disappointing start to the game. Again, concede. The stats talks for itself. We've only had 3 clean sheets this season in the Premier League, and what does that say about our defence? And I don't think a lot of the games we can blame it on the goalkeepers, Lindegaard or De Gea, because they have to rely on their defensive unit in able to keep the shots out, and when the other team have, say, 10 more plus attempts on goal, one of them's bound to end up in the net. So I think it's definitely more defensive frailties rather than blames on the goalkeeper. But we after that, we still looked like we weren't at the races. Passes were going astray. Carrick didn't have his passing boots. Scholes, doing his clean and simple pass, but again, his lack of energy kind of like didn't create the 3rd-man run that was desperately needed by Van Persie and Chicharito to give them a bit more operating space. And Giggs, he kept drifting inside, perhaps to invite Patrice Evra, but again, the final delivery from both flanks was really disappointing. So Chicharito or Van Persie didn't really have any service in the first half to deal with. And then we hit back 1-1 on the 25th minute from Johnny Evans after a Van Persie free kick. It was kind of a messy goal. Chicharito broke through, and then Johnny Evans bundled home after Tim Krul saved it. So it was a 1-1. It was kind of, I guess, against the run of play, because United up to that point wasn't, worth the equaliser. But again, our never die spirit lifted us again, and that made us 1-1. However, just a few minutes later, Johnny Evans made it 2-1 to Newcastle. Yep, you heard it right, Johnny Evans with an own goal. It was quite a controversial topic, this one, and because Cisse, he was in an offside position. It was hit to his direction, but Johnny Evans got the vital touch before it hit Cisse. But the linesman, he ruled it out because he thought Cisse was offside. Then Mike Dean, apparently he said that because he wasn't interfering with play, the goal stand, and obviously he stood because it made it 2-1. But it was, I don't know, it was a very debatable, and both sides had an argument. I can understand both the sides, because Cisse, I think he did want to try to flick it in, but to be fair to Newcastle, he didn't. So I think it was a legitimate goal that it stood there. I know we would have been disappointed if it happened to us down the other end, and I'm sure a lot of you guys and myself would have claimed it, but yeah. So by the law and what it says, I think that is a correct decision by Dean, Mike Dean. So again, this difficult goal to give away. Johnny Evans seemed to be very disappointed by that, and it gave De Gea no chance of that one with a deflection. So after that, United tried to break Newcastle down. Throughout the first half, the remaining of the first half, tried to break them down. Couldn't really make any clear-cut chances. There were a couple chances falling to Chicharito, etc., but it wasn't really nothing that was clear-cut, and so we went into the break 2-1 down to Newcastle. And so it took us until the 58th minute to get on the equaliser after again scrappy build-up. Carrick played into Chicharito, bounced off, I think, Williamson or Colaccini, landed at Evra's foot, hit it, after a good first touch, past Tim Krul, made it 2-2, and so you thought after this, United would definitely have woken up and tried to go on, build momentum, and deliver good 3 points. Had to dig out of 3 points, but Newcastle obviously didn't read the script, and Alan Pardew, credit to him bringing on Obertan, which created a third goal for Newcastle. Down the left-hand side, played it into Cisse, quality finish with his left foot, straight past De Gea, no chance. One criticism I have to say is Patrice Evra. His defending is absolutely terrible. Didn't get close to him, and Patrice Evra, I know he's a good player and is obviously our vice captain, but his basics of defending is absolutely shocking, I think, in my opinion, because what he does is just stand square on to the attacking player, meaning that he's inviting them to take whatever side they want. So they could go inside, outside, whatever they choose, and onto their stronger foot. And when he does that, the movement, the simple little movement, because he is so square, kind of like makes him stand still, and so he loses a bit of get ground when they do go past him, and he is unable to recover as quickly as in his younger days. And that was one criticism that I have to say for Evra, because he doesn't show them the line or anything, and that was harder to, I think, with the Cisse goal, where Cisse just drifted back and then just ghosted in front of him, and Evra at the last minute tried to make the block, but it was too late, and that made it 3-2 to Newcastle. And Newcastle, to be fair, they play very bravely, going to Old Trafford, scoring 3 goals is no mean feat, and by scoring 3 goals you would think that they would have had the victory in the bag. However, Van Persie hit back on the 71st minute after good play from Antonio Valencia. Van Persie hit the first one straight at Tim Krul with a good save. Carrick then prodded the ball back to Van Persie, who at a second attempt got it past his Dutch colleague. So Van Persie taking his goal tally in the Premier League to 13 now, matching Michu. And, again, Van Persie proving his kind of like reputation and goal scoring record is continuing at United, so that's a good sign. I think he's got 16 overall now, so Van Persie, I think he's on for a good season. If he doesn't get injured, he should definitely get over 30 goals, and that could make all the difference as well. And then 3-3, we had the last 20 minutes to try to break Newcastle down once again and not to concede, and it took us all the way to the 90th minute after a host of chances were wasted by Chicharito and Van Persie. Michael Carrick, one of his balls for Van Persie was absolutely wonderful. Chipped over the top. Van Persie, very reminiscent of his Arsenal days. First time volley, unfortunately just went just wide to the right hand upright. But again, on the 90th minute, Michael Carrick again involved with a great delivery into the penalty area. Chicharito, who else was in there to calmly slot it home past Tim Krul. Chicharito could have had a hat-trick by the end of the day if he had not missed 2 or 3 great opportunities. But again, he had to be there making his trademark runs and coolly finished past Tim Krul. So that made it 4-3, and the game finished 4-3, although it was interrupted by I think 3-minute added injury time to Vernon Anita, who suffered a bad challenge from Antonio Valencia. I'm not sure what the news is on Anita. I think his ankle was twisted, and perhaps some ligaments has done and gone there, but it was an unfortunate end to the game. But we held on, made it 4-3, and by the celebration of Salex on Mike Phelan, you could tell how much of a advantage and moral victory that was for United going to start in this festive period. And obviously the next game is coming fast around the corner on Saturday against West Brom. Fortunately it's at home, so we should win it really, because even though West Brom are doing quite well this season, we have to say to ourselves that at home we should be beating anyone that comes on our turf. So West Brom, hopefully Ashley Young and Welbeck will be back for that game, because we need a bit more attacking impetus. I think Salex had no choice with the Danny Welbeck, Nani and Ashley Young all out. He had to play Ryan Giggs on the left hand side there. But again, so good win. I guess 3 points, and overall, because of the Sunderland win against City, it has made us 7 points clear at the top. And like I said, obviously a disappointment against Swansea that we dropped 2 points, but now we have 7 points clear. We have to take the initiative now and kind of like just take a game by one in order to maintain our focus and concentration to keep the advantage at the top all the way to the end of May. And I'm sure there will be more twists and turns in the season, but we are very happy with our position, I'm sure, because it takes us out of a 2-game option now. So it's all going in our favour at the moment, and hopefully we'll carry on to the end of the season. So overall, my man of the match was definitely Michael Carrick. His part was tremendous, even though he did made a mistake for the first Newcastle goal, but you can fault him for the rest of the game. De Gea wasn't having his best game, I guess, yesterday. A couple good, solid goalkeeping punches. One punch where he could have caught, but again, it probably will improve with the games he's given right now. I wouldn't be surprised if Lindegaard might be playing the next game, perhaps to just give De Gea a bit of a break and then bring him back in. But you never know with Salek's rotation. I think he's liking towards De Gea at the moment and might keep him for the long run. But again, I have to say, Johnny Evans actually really impressed me as well. His energy up and down the park was really good, and again got his 4th goal for this season, along with Patrice Evra. So overall, a good win, and we're now 7 points clear. So there you guys have it for another episode of Match Report. I hope you like this video, guys. Please rate, comment and subscribe. And I want to say a happy new year to all of the subscribers to the Man United Daily channel. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.